This week on Let's List, I'm with Bekah Cochran, and the topic this week is appraisals. And I say that kind of reluctantly, but it does not have to be a complicated process, right? So talk me kind of through what an appraisal is.
Okay, so an appraisal is a check and balance that we have within our sales contract. What it really means to a seller and a buyer is that the property has to appraise for your contract sales price. Okay, so if the appraisal comes in above, then that's fantastic. If it comes in below, then we have to renegotiate the terms. And very seldom do buyers have extra money to bring to the closing table, and sellers, of course, don't want to come off of the agreement that they already have. Right. So this is a checks and balances that is keeping our market in such. Right now, it is very fierce and very competitive, right. And you know, buyers are writing contracts for list price, if not above. Okay. And from there, the property then has to appraise. Right. So typically a buyer is obtaining a loan, and if the buyer is obtaining a loan, then an appraisal is required. If the buyer has cash, then they have the opportunity to waive the appraisal. So the majority of your buyers are going to have an appraisal. Your lender from there takes care of ordering the appraisal. It has to be ordered within 5 days of our binding contract. And from there, the appraiser goes out to the property, they measure the rooms, they do the square footage, and they take an analysis of the property in comparisons of the surrounding properties. Okay,
so you hear that term sometimes, the comps is another terminology for that process.
Yes, the comparables. So they're looking at the materials used in the property, the square footage, and they're looking at the condition and any updates that the property has. Right. And from there, they're looking just 6 months out within the radius of where the property is located. So you're not going to use a comparison, you know, from one side of town to the other. You're going to stay within that same subdivision or that same area.
And I would think this is a part where a good realtor is important, because a good realtor, and I know you and I have discussed this before, has already done the homework and already knows what that looks like. So the expectations really should be pretty realistic.
Exactly.
Right, going into this part.
Exactly. It is definitely something that we have conversation about when we're going into the appointment to both list the property or to have a consult with the buyer. Right. The importance of that. You know, the hard part about this is that it's 100% out of our control. But as you just referenced, we do our homework on the front end to confirm that both the buyer and the seller have an understanding of both where we're going to list the property or where we're going to make an offer on the property. Right. You know, it is an additional feature that protects the buyer so that they're not paying too much for a specific property. It has to appraise, and unfortunately it's one where the sellers will get upset if it doesn't appraise for what we have negotiated. You know, often we're going into multiple offers and the property is going under contract for above the list price, and you know, from there it can be questionable. It can be $3,000 to $5,000 or $8,000 to $15,000 off the appraised value and the contract sales price, or it could be $20,000 or $30,000. Over the past few years, I've had scenarios where the property has not appraised, and from there we have to renegotiate, and those terms look very different for each person.
Right, but there again, if you have your realtor there to guide you through, you can come up with a game plan together, and that's what it's really all about.
That's right.
You mentioned the market is on an upswing right now, so if people are watching today and they're thinking this would be a great time for me to buy or maybe get my home ready for the market, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Yeah, so you can call me on my cell or reach me at the office at 664-1900, and I will look forward to having just that private conversation and consult with you to see where you are in the process. And you can jump on our website at busybekah.com and give me a call or shoot me a message, and we'll take it from there.
All right, great. So this is a crucial part of the process, but it doesn't have to be difficult. If you still have questions for Bekah, be sure to give her a call. As she just mentioned, all of her contact information is right there on your screen, and we'll see you again for another Let's List.